your life
Fair
for
enough.
technicians. Your host, Michael Brooks and Robert Evers. Stay tuned for another great episode.
Yeah.
What's up?
Man, I forgot to put on the post that we're doing a new time zone. You and I are finally living on the same time zone.
Yeah, man, we're in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah, you can't beat it, man. That means you don't have to stay up till 11 o'clock anymore just to do the
I didn't
podcast.
mind it though, because now I'm like, I gotta get out here early. Jeez.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Excuse to do something.
Yeah, man. I
Well,
can't put it off to the last minute, so I gotta get here early.
that's our story, man. Last minute. So,
That's
what's going
true.
on? What's going on in gate operator world of the last couple weeks?
In my personal gate operator world, I've got 3 projects to get finished up in the next week and a half. That's what I figure is going to take me to do. And then got a couple more coming up. Got some fence projects and stuff.
All
I got a
chain
lot of
link.
work, all kind of chain link vinyl. I got all kind of stuff coming in. Aluminum fencing. I got about 5 fence jobs to get done, and
Ooh, get out.
a bunch of service calls coming in for gates and all kind of stuff. People want me to put price on stuff. I got a lot going on.
What kind of service trucks are you running? I was looking at those Colorados, those little Chevy Colorados. Brian Fredrickson over there at Las Vegas Fence has got a couple of those that uses for their salespeople. But I thought a mid-size
Yeah.
truck for those hot shots and stuff would be pretty good.
Well,
What are
I
you running?
think
Are you
it's
running full size or mid size?
full. We got a 20. I got 2 2500s with
Oh,
service
okay.
beds. But
Good.
we do have a Colorado. My dad does. He has his Colorado with the business logo and all that set up with toolbox and all that on it. So, but he don't do nothing no more. So he just rides around. But it's ready to go if we wanted to get a salesperson out there to go look at everything, or if you wanted to do service calls. I think if you're doing minor service calls, like just maintenance, spray, lubricating, checking things, have a few
Mhm.
boards or something like that, them Colorados would be great for that. And also going out and looking at work and stuff. So.
What does he have toolbox wise? Has he got a cross box on it or
No, he has the one that fits inside the bed.
oh the like a weather guard rat pack? I think there's
Yeah, it's
one
got the 2 drawers in the bottom of the bed. You can let the tailgate down and just pull the drawers out. Zoop, zoop,
plastic
and you
or
can.
metal.
It's plastic.
I think that's called decked. I looked at those
Yeah, yeah,
systems.
yeah.
Is
That's
that
it.
I looked at those systems before and they just redesigned them to
Hmm.
where they upgraded a couple of things and I think you get a little bit more room
Yeah,
out of the drawers. But yeah, that's the way mine used to be. But I didn't have it. I had a cross box and one of those weather guard
yeah,
wrap packs. But
yeah,
that right there was 500 pounds just in toolboxes alone,
yeah,
empty.
and yeah, and they work great with their tools in it because I got another truck that's my fence truck, and we got it set up like that too because it's just a 1500 extended cab, but it's the work white work truck that you see everybody else that has, but the rear end's beefed up and stuff like that,
Mm,
and we got a toolbox that goes across the bed, and then we got the shelving that the dex box in the bottom of the bed, so we got
okay.
room for the big power tools, hand tools, drills, porter bands, and sawzalls, grinders, all in that one, 2 little drawers, 2 big drawers, not little drawers, but big drawers that we just pull out, and they work great. Maybe we need to get them to sponsor us.
Chevy or Dex.
Deck, deck.
No, we need to definitely get him on the show. Yeah, I have just struggled back and forth for the longest time, and I felt that I finally got it down with my truck, and this is pretty much what it looks like. It should pop up here in a second if you can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this truck is going away. If anybody wants, I'm going to get a little bit of work on it done, depending upon the cost. If anybody's interested in it, I didn't know this was going to turn into selling my truck issue, but it might be a mechanic special too, because I think it's just a head gasket. But I got to get that. I get that going this week. Get it looked at. But yeah, that's
How
what
much
I use.
you want for it?
Well, it depends on whether it's a mechanic special or not. If it's a mechanic special, meaning that you're going to have to do more than $2,500 worth to the engine, which, by the way, I had oil in my coolant, and my coolant was overflowing. Now, my engine didn't overheat, nor did my transmission overheat, but there was significant amount of oil in my coolant.
That's a head gasket.
Head gasket, right? So, I mean, that's got to be 2,000. So I figure if I put right now a mechanic special is $1,500. Get it done, get it out of there. It's only going to come with the air compressor, and it'll come with the lighting, but really nothing else. It'll come with the little iPad rack, the RAM mount iPad rack that I paid more than $700 for, and a couple little small things like that. It's got a good spare. Back two tires are good. The motor only has 30,000 on it, or right around there. It was a Jasper motor, I believe, which is another thing, because as soon as I put that motor in, they immediately had to replace it because there was a bad oil filter. So they warranted it and everything. It was perfect. That was the whole reason why I spent $6,000 on the motor. It's quite possible. I'm going to call them and see if that motor had any defects or anything like that out of the batch, and see if that's the case. But part of the reason why I like this is it's enclosed. So are any of your trucks enclosed on the back?
Yeah, I got one that's enclosed that I use all the time, but it's not that high. It's but it's enclosed though.
Well, it's got these two racks on there. I've taken the light off the middle, which is cool because it still has a light switch to it. So you could actually still hook up whatever 12-volt system that you wanted. I was gonna hook up the flashing lights all around the bed, which I've only installed 2. So if you pull over to the side of the road or whatever, or in your blocking traffic, you can have those on. And then it doesn't have the ladder rack. I took the ladder rack. So those 2 boxes for ground rods and miscellaneous stuff, which I actually like, those can come off. And then I also welded some of those X-brace systems on there. So it's a modular 2-rail system. So when I get like 2 barrier arms or 4-gate operators, I can only put a couple of things in the back with the way that I carry my cart. So it goes on top. But anyways, I'll put it out on the forums, but I'll call you first if you're interested. But the engine's only got like 30,000. I just spent $2,000 or $1,500 when I did the drive from Las Vegas. So who knows? Maybe it's something that somebody wants. So, but those Colorados seem cool. But that's the only way I would do it is with a pull-out deck and cover.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything that's uncovered anymore because
you can have the pull-out deck and then get you the cover where you can open up from the sides or whatever. Yeah, you can do all kind of stuff with it nowadays.
The problem is those toppers are so freaking expensive, new. And for you to find the right one, I looked at doing it on a Colorado. It was $6,000 to do the pull-out bed where the whole thing pulls out, not just the deck, but the whole thing pulls out.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, those are pretty nice. They're aluminum. They're weight rated for like 2,000 pounds or whatever. And then the utility box, which was fiberglass, I believe, but had a steel frame over the top so you could still put ladders on it and stuff like that. So anyways, man, there's a lot of stuff going on out here where I'm at. I did a dual LA500, 2 dual LA500s. Not super excited about it on an HOA, double swing. It's going to get the job done. Now, do you install any LA500s?
Yeah, I got one pre-installed right now, but I just hang the gate and I set the post and welded the gates on the post and I got it ready, but I won't get to that one till next week. Right now I got a LA 400 to put in and then a automatic column mount to put in this week.
So I was talking to Adam, and he was saying that cycles wise, he doesn't have any problems with them, but he was saying that heavy wise, that they're probably not. These are my words. The ratings that they have on necessarily to be believed.
Well, let's take it.
1600,
Let's just
1600
say
pound gate.
this: we know what they are. I sell them, but I know that they're not going to be 100% durable in certain situations.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a service call out of it because if it opens up 100 times a day, you most definitely something's going to happen to it.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I wonder if anybody else is out there installing any LA 500s. Just put it in the comments on what's the max length and weight of gate that you're putting them on. I'd be curious to know. I do like the fact that they're quiet, and there's some other flaws in the design, but the fact that they don't send all the hardware with it ready to go and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's kind of
you got to get everything separate. Like the if you got loops, you got to get the extension rack or whatever you call expansion.
It does come with the expansion rack. It does come with that.
Because sometimes I give them, they don't.
Maybe it's maybe you're thinking of the LA 400 because the 400 doesn't come with it, right?
Oh, I'll look at it then.
Yeah,
because I got one right.
Know,
maybe
it's an option. Maybe it's an option.
It's supposed to be an option. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, maybe it is. I thought for some reason.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody can correct us out there in the internet world. If you're watching this, tell us if we're wrong or not. If the LA 500 comes with the expansion board or not, and if you're a Liftmaster technician, and you work for Liftmaster, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And come on and let's talk about that too. I like the LA 400. I wouldn't put it on heavy cycles, but I would definitely put it on a gate just because it extends much farther. So you're going to get a gate operator that has that probably meets its weight rating. But 8 foot, 1,600 pounds on an LA 500, I would definitely be scared to do. So I was going, before we got on, I was going through the interwebs. And I'd heard about a few months ago, maybe it's 6 months ago, when I was talking to a guy who follows all this stuff. He was saying that barrier arm lawsuits right now are kind of going crazy. And, that's actually a good question, probably because they found, in my opinion, it's probably because they found a judge and a court that were sympathetic to these things. But I heard that Texas is blowing up with these barrier arm lawsuits. There's our buddies over at JC Gary. Hi guys, you cannot run open trucks here in SoCal. You will lose something to the thieves. That's the other thing I like about the
true that
the closed trucks is that you're less likely to get ripped off at Home Depot. And I don't care what anybody says, you're going to have to be pretty damn efficient to where you're bringing, if your tech forgets something, to where you have a whole nother separate truck that can go out there and drop off parts. It just don't work like that, especially when you're spread out.
Sometimes I have that truck. I'll say, hey, bring me a transformer. Because sometimes I'll have about a couple jobs where I've used up all my transformers and I forget to grab one to put back in the truck or something like that. And I'll call them, hey, when you're on the way, I got a job in there. You come bring me a transformer or something, or a loop detector, whatever. I do that.
I used to have one branch of Control Products down there in Dallas, and they would actually bring stuff out to me. But I think it was not a company policy. It was just like, oh, this makes sense. I'll go do it.
Well, this is my own company doing in my structure.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. But I thought that the website was actually kind of interesting that Door King put on. Looks like we're getting a little bit of echo from somewhere. So let's see. So this was a couple of things that Door King had on their website. Do you have your speakers turned on or something that just popped over? Because now I can hear my voice as well too. Sorry for.
Oh, hold on. What about now?
Check 1 2.
What about now?
Check 1 2. Test 1 2.
I took my hat off. Can you hear it now?
Check 1 2. Test 1 2. Yeah, there we go. So it's just your bleed over from your headphones?
Yeah, I had them. I didn't have them on all the way.
Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. I just want anybody that's listening and not actually watching, they might not actually see us. So this is interesting. So this is not. I'm not trying to point at Door King for any other.
We're not doing none of that. Just spit it out, man.
Okay, so this is just on their website, and for a manufacturer to actually put it like this was actually kind of interesting. Don't let an accident turn into a shakedown. Have I not been fucking complaining about that forever?
Mm-hmm.
But let's get past that.
Scroll back up.
Yeah,
right there. Leave it right there. Read that to me again.
Don't let an accident turn into a shakedown, and then it's got
stop right there. Right there. All right. What's the requirement for parking tire right now? You don't have to have a photo eye on it, do you?
On a barrier arm?
Yeah.
To my knowledge, you don't.
You do not, because it will work without one. And why all of a sudden they want to put a photo eye or some kind of protection on the bottom to keep from hitting somebody's head? And I mean, what's the problem? Are they going to stand under the gate? Are people getting so stupid that they're going to stand under the gate and let it fall on their head?
Well, that's conversation definitely that we need to have. Personal accountability, right? We in every other part of our lives, it's about personal accountability, right? Is it fair to say that we've always heard this and it's played out in our lives? If you hit somebody in the back of their car, right? If you run your car into theirs, whether they're at fault or not, it's going to be 9 times out of 10, you're going to be the one that's held accountable, right? Because you didn't separate with enough space and you weren't watching what was in front of you, right?
Well, see, I had a neighbor get killed 3 Saturdays ago. He was a fire chief for the local fire department, and he was turning in right there at his house. And a vehicle came up from behind him, a tow truck driver that repos a lot of cars and stuff, weren't paying attention and ran right in the back into him and killed him instantly. And that dude's in jail now, by the way, for manslaughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is it the chief's fault because he should have pulled in faster, or because he was driving a Chevy truck as opposed to a Volvo, or he shouldn't have been coming home that late at night, or during the day, or is it the guy who hit him fault? Like, why would we go after the manufacturer who makes the car if the person who hit him was not keeping enough distance in between that and what was in front of him, or was doing something else that he shouldn't have been doing? So it's just a weird situation where people think that somehow the accountability is no longer with the person that did it.
Okay. All right. Think about this. Florida just said, if a mob of people surrounds your car and threaten your life and you feel like your life is in danger, you can run over them. So what about that situation?
I don't know why it hasn't been like that before. You have to do everything that you can within reason to protect yourself. And if that means that they're in front of you banging on the hood of your car and you have a 5,000-pound car and you know what's about to happen if you if you step on the gas, which is hurting them, but your life is threatened, Why is it the guy who's driving the car? Why is it his problem if his life is being threatened? Right?
Okay,
But
now
that's who's going to lose the lawsuit because he
yeah.
was in a protected area. He was driving the
Mhm.
car and he knew that that person was going to get hurt. But
Okay.
this is Jim.
Ain't that the same thing with a gate with reflector tape on it, and it goes up and it goes down, and it has a sign on it that says danger. This is a pinch point. And then if we got all these UL 325 stuff going on, why didn't they go ahead and say, "Hey, you got to put a photo eye on this"?
Well, why is it the person who was driving his motorcycle, at which or let me also clarify that, and this is something that we don't get into that much. Is it fair to say that every property? I'm literally trying to be as literal as possible. Every property that you've ever been on has had a motorcycle go on that property, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
just fair to say that's only logical, or a bicycle,
yeah,
or
yeah.
a pedestrian
Golf
walking through the
carts.
gate. So, yeah, so barrier arms are not made for motorcycles, but yet you know that property, that HOA that you're going to install the barrier arm is going to have a motorcycle ride through there. So,
Well, you know,
are we at fault for installing what the customer wants that's safe, that has a closed loop, that has a photo eye? Who's responsible for that? The motorcycle guy who was driving 50 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone,
well,
or me
well,
because
most of the time, let me tell you what most of the time is. Most of the time, it's the motorcycle that runs through there, or the vehicle that runs through there. It's their fault.
But why do we get involved in these lawsuits? Why are we being held accountable because
Them
somebody else
lawsuits
did something
are,
stupid?
them lawsuits are minimum. They're not like 100,000 lawsuits. It's like maybe 10 or 20 at the most. I don't know how many lawsuits are there, but there's probably barrier arms every day getting knocked down, and then the guy that owns the barrier arm gate or the company will say, "Hey, you got to pay for my gate," and then I'll come out there and give them price, and they say, "Well, this company's paid for it, so here, and give me the invoice, and I'll get my money back." Blah blah blah. That's what normally happens.
That's what should happen, right? The person who
Yeah,
hits the barrier arm should be accountable for their actions.
I just went through that. Just went
So,
through that this past month.
so barrier arms are a hotbed of lawsuits, but here's what I want to talk to you about. This is some interesting things. But today's busy world, people often misjudge their surroundings and place themselves in harm's way. And then it said that the barrier arms that Door King has goes above and beyond the parking safety standards, which I've never even heard of. So maybe that's something that we got to understand with five
Mm-hmm.
flow safe essentials for traffic control, preventing damage to vehicles, which should be the last thing that you should worry about, pedestrians, the operator, and a trip to the courthouse. So it's crazy that a manufacturer is starting to point out what we're scared of shit about. You know, I don't want to fucking be dragged into court because every person that I've ever said is an idiot because they installed a gate
Okay.
operator like that, every manufacturer is going to be lined up right against me. And I don't want to be dragged in the courthouse. But
No.
let's take a look
Yeah.
at this. Well, here's their little 5 flow safe things. Pedestrian DKS pedestrian detection system. I've never heard of that. A warning beep, which I'm convinced that most manufacturers should make that required when the gate operator
All
is
right. Okay.
moving
Stop
or
right.
closing. All right.
And if they start requiring that, you're gonna hear a bunch of noise everywhere,
Yeah,
and people
I
are
don't
not
disagree.
gonna like it.
I don't disagree. That's the reason why we go back to properties that we just installed gate operators on, and the UL 325 signs are taken off. Right?
This is why I think they need to train the public on how to walk under a damn gate.
You basically are doing something that they're never going to do, because the second that they do that, they admit that there is safety issues with their gate operators. Man, that's
Do you
just
want?
that simple.
So I'm the installer, so I gotta stand out there and say, "Hey, don't hit the gate. I won't never go home. I won't never go home to my wife. I won't never eat dinner at evening time, and never see my bed because I gotta make sure nobody walks under this gate." or nobody hits this gate.
Jim's being lighthearted. He said Darwin had it right. That's true. I mean, but what do we do? Here's where the issue is, and here's where it comes in that anybody that's questioning it gets portrayed as, just like I have, like the American Fence Association board members have portrayed me as somebody that's trolling the parents of dead children, and I want kids to get hurt, right? What do we do when we see something that's an issue, such as the maintenance guy at the elementary telling the kid to push the gate closed? You're telling me that it's now my fault because you had somebody that should not be operating heavy equipment open and close the gate? Where's the school's liability? Where's the parent's liability? Where's the
maintenance liability?
Yeah.
The school maintenance people needed to call the qualified people to keep a gate up and maintenance. The maintenance man should have been the one opening and closing that gate, not the child.
And now we're both going to be portrayed as baby killers. And you're telling me
no. Don't even say that. Don't even say that.
That's what they did to me.
Well, they're full of crap. Whoever said that's full of crap. So, but the thing is, that's what happened. Okay? That's exactly what happened. A child died, and everybody's going to pussyfoot around for the past year, or when it happened. Now they don't even talk about it no more. But when it happened, everybody needed to know the exact reason, what really went on, what was wrong with the gate. Come to find out, it didn't even have a gate operator on it. It was just a regular telescopic slide gate, whatever, that was manually open and closed, for what I've understand, unless I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, please make a comment.
Why can't we get these guys on here? You know, the only person that's been on here that's probably qualified is Ken Martin, and he did it with no reservation whatsoever. There was no pre-qualification. There was none of that. He just told us what we needed to be careful of and watched out for us. Why can't we expect that same support from these trade associations? You got the American Fence Association going all crazy.
They're in sales.
Because we don't have enough money and enough power to justify directing them.
Yeah, and they ain't tried to sponsor us anyways, and they ain't tried to give me no money. We bought over the years, 25 years of buying products from them. You know, only thing they do is just say, okay, yeah, and have fun. But you know,
that's something we'll get into here in a second, because I think we need to question whether we, as gate operator, installation technicians, and some of y'all out there as gate operator open companies, why is the Fence Trade Association going off on getting these gate operators licensed litigated out of our hands, to where you're going to have be a multi-million-dollar company just to even install them because of the insurance, the liability.
Bull crap.
Yeah, well,
it ain't gonna. They're gonna do that, but there's still gonna be guys out there putting this stuff in.
Well, that's exactly what the American Fence Association created in Nevada. James going to be on in a couple of weeks. He's saying what's up. He's going to be on and talk to us about how things are going out there in Texas with welding and gate operators and all that stuff. Cool. Anthony says, I've been deposed personally, and it's no fun. And they are 100% ready to throw it on an installation company. So what does that tell you with all the litigation that they're pushing?
That Anthony?
California. Yeah, it's Anthony. So California right now is the hotbed because they have some senators there a year. But we take a look at what happened in Louisiana, where the American Fence Association bought a truck, and as opposed to training gate technicians, guess what they did? They went all up and down Louisiana training fire departments on how to inspect the gate operators. If they took that same money and put fallover protection in schools, we could actually make gates safer. But training the politician on how to install gate operators.
But let's slow that down a little bit.
All right.
Let's back up to this picture we're looking at. You said that's a Door King 1601.
This is on Door King's website. Everybody should check it out, because these are some crucial things that you need to be doing.
I got 3 of them. out there at White Lake at a uh, little mini colleges and a vacation rental spot. I got a
Yeah.
photo eye running across the bottom of it,
Yeah.
and we got the lights with the edge pad under the whole gate. So anytime the gate comes down, you hit that edge pad, it goes right back up. See that light right there? That's the
Yep.
edge pads too. So
Yeah, on theirs it might be a little bit different because I think they have a reverse edge on it. They're pointing out to, so it's one and the
well,
same. That you're
it
saying?
has the lights and the edge pad built in it at the
Oh,
same
okay.
time. It's
Yeah, I
all the
mean,
same piece.
yeah, I think that should be something that we
Why
all need
did
to take a look at.
why did me and my father think about that?
Why?
Because we wanted to cover our ass. So we knew what to do.
Yep.
So what's the big deal? Is
Well,
what I'm saying.
it's about lowering liability. That's what it is, and it's not lowering liability for us, the people that are in the trade. It's lowering liability for
Okay.
people who are paying for sponsorship and booths at the shows.
It, lowering liability. That still don't mean you can't get sued. Because you
Oh
got
no,
an
you're always
LLC
going to get
doesn't
sued.
mean you
You're,
can't get sued.
so the unfortunate situation that happened with the kid in Austin that got killed by an automatic gate. Everybody from the person who programmed a remote into the receiver, all the way down to the manufacturer of the gate operator, the manufacturer of the photo eye, manufacturer of the keypad, anything that had anybody's name on it, they all got sued. So it's not a question of getting sued.
Mm.
It's a question of knowing what to do when you get sued. And anybody out there that
Hire a
knows
lawyer.
of a good lawyer, it's about time that we start arming ourselves with that ammunition. Anthony, if you have any information on that, not to put you on the spot, but just saying that you've been through this, the company that you're working for or whatever, if we know any good lawyers, it's time to start getting our voices heard as well too, because they
Yeah.
are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars
Well, I want to
on
let everybody know that they can vote no. They can call their congressman, their senator, their state and local officials and say, we don't want this. You can say no.
we don't
Just
want
like
the
they used to
law.
make us tell us back in the day, just say no to drugs. Just say no to a bunch of regulations that nobody else is going to follow but a few companies.
Well, a few companies that try to that say that they're doing it, but they actually don't. It's I can only go by what I've seen, right? I can't tell you in every market it's like this, but Nevada, where UL 325 and ASTM F2200 has been a law, it has done absolutely nothing to make gates safer. What it's actually done is on every gate operator where you would see a Liftmaster RSL or a Viking K2 or automatic SL45, they're putting Alico gate operators in there and Amazon gate operators in there, and they're doing it with zero permits and zero
All right.
quality.
Okay. Let's now you know another thing that irks me is when you work for these people and they want you to come give them a price and we say we don't want you to jack the price up because it worked fine with this one loop and it worked fine with this one photo eye across it. We don't need that photo eye across the back. It worked fine without that. Please, we don't need that. And that's going on. So why can't they be responsible too?
Well, that's the whole thing. Their thought process on this, according to a former executive director of the American Fence Association, is that we are the experts, so we cannot sign away our liability, and in doing so, we can't put that responsibility on the homeowner. The homeowner who bought $1 million home and has got that much money is not smart enough to determine whether he wants this or doesn't want this, because we're the experts. Now, what's key about that is that's the way they're framing the argument to the politicians, is the gate technician who the American Fence Association isn't training. They're training the fire department and the politicians. All right. They're the experts, right? But they're holding
Yeah.
they're putting all that liability on us. So you have to be cautious with where you guys are putting your money and who you're supporting.
Well,
But anybody
yeah,
having
just
a
like
opposing view,
yeah, that's true. But
uh,
here's the thing: is you have the right to say no. We have the right to voice your opinion as an American citizen. To talk to your congressman, talk to your commissioner, talk to your local authorities, whatever, and send them letters, send them emails, and say we don't believe in this, and
we
then
don't.
vote their ass out if they don't daggone go on with what you're doing.
And to clarify my standpoint, and I'm not speaking for you, I don't think that the whole system, which first goes to make it a law, then creates the licensing agency, then requires technicians to get licensed, and then requires the permitting process. I do not think that based on it being like that in
Yeah.
25 years in Nevada will make gates safer. It has nothing to do
Mm.
with the procedures of installing a gate operator to make a gate operator safer. I am all for that because I believe that there's money in safety. So why wouldn't I want to
Yeah, yeah, I
otherwise?
know. They
You know?
already got everything in place. You already got, well, except for on the barrier arms, you don't have to have the photo eyes. You don't have to have all three loops if you don't want. I
Yeah,
recommend putting three
if
loops under a barrier arm gate. And if you don't, you're a fool.
yeah, well, according to the way that they put it here on the Door King website, that's what they listed first. But I thought it was interesting that these manufacturers are really thinking about this. Door King is really thinking about us. I mean, it turned into a shakedown. They're
Yeah,
talking about the installer. And I thought that this was really cool. These are all things, and yeah, they're promoting their own product too, because I've never
of
heard of this
course.
DPS pedestrian detection system. So that's something I want Door King to come on and talk about. Anybody from Door King, Justin, Roy, any of you guys, Ron Miller, we'd love to have him. Any of you guys want to come on and tell us about this? It'd be
Yeah.
great. Warning
And we're
beeper.
not going to be mean to you. We'll be respectful. Just come
Well,
on. We love you.
I might be mean to him. But anyways,
I
lighted
won't.
six breakaway arms. That's okay. They're mean to me, so I'll be mean back. So
Yeah.
reverse edge sensor. But here's the thing that you and I don't want to do is we don't want to stop the conversation. You and I
No.
both, we have disagreed about shit left and right, but we're giving people a platform for them to come on and prove me wrong or prove you
Yes.
wrong. Let's do it. I'm waiting for it. Anytime y'all want to do
Well,
it, come on, because I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room. That's for sure.
yeah.
I think I lost a couple of IQ points just coming to Georgia, but I'm from Texas, so that doesn't put it
Mm.
very high.
You
But
about to learn Southern hospitality.
uh, there you go. But I
You on
can't.
my side of the country now.
Yeah. What I don't understand is how do these people get so offended about us being passionate about our positions that they won't come on and actually talk
Because
about their point?
them people's got to follow the rules because they're working for the company and stuff. They got
That's
to follow the rules until they retire. Then they'll be like, the hell with it.
Yeah, we're looking for those people that are retired. Y'all come on and talk to us about it.
Yeah.
But the other thing is too is that debate, or if there even is a debate, will definitely help a technician out there. So why wouldn't manufacturers, distributors, and especially the American Fence Association, which you and I have personally invited the executive
Yeah.
director, the president, former president, upcoming president, and two or three other people from the American Fence Association on here.
I tell you right now, I give a
Why come
rat's
on?
two's ass about whoever's on the head of that because they ain't never reached out. Hey, I don't give a damn about y'all. I
There
don't
you go.
care about the American Fence Association.
I don't give a crap
Fuck
about them
off.
because how they've treated me personally. I mean, you had Nick Reich
Yeah.
and Shelby Keelan saying that I'm a baby killer and that I am for trolling the parents of dead children. I don't want any fucking kid to get hurt. What are they fucking
No.
high? But here's the thing. Here's the key that we have to remember as gate operator technicians.
Mhm.
The reason why they do that, or reasons why they do that, is because one, they can get away with it, and two, they have the power. That's why they can get away with it. That's why nobody ever spoke out on my side saying, hey, dude, you can't step across the line and say this person wants to fucking get killed, because they have the power and they think they can get away with that shit. So anyways,
well, guess what? The resistance is here, people. We're resisting now. It's uncensored now.
Well,
we're going to be broke because nobody's going to sponsor us now.
Now, yeah. Well, that's okay, man. If we were doing it for sponsorship dollars, we would have already turned it off.
They would have fired us a long damn time ago.
Yeah, man. This is about us helping the James Dunn's uprising. Adding all safety will price you out of a job. You know, I mean, I'm
you gotta
not
have the safety.
And me and James, we were in the same market at one point in time. I'm happy to lose a job because a scratch on a Bentley versus a $700 photo eye.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. I got no problems, dude.
Yeah.
I'm putting 3 photo eyes on commercial jobs. One at 24 and one at 48 to 52, depending upon on the opening or on the closing, and then one for the opening. I mean, that's how hard is that? You just when we're talking about $25,000 or $30,000 per opening, they're not going to worry about $600 or $700. So,
well, you got your value of yourself and your company, and your value is your value, and this is why they got all the regulations too. Is because they're trying to even up the playing field. But I just think too much of it's out of hand, because right now we got enough in place where we got photo eyes, we got edge pairs, we got loops, we got sensitivity on the obstruction on the gate. There's all kind of things we got in place, but it will not keep it from being the safest thing that happens, because something will happen. Somebody go and kick the photo eye and the gate's going to stay open. They're going to call you to come out there or somebody to come service it. And
I mean, you can't
things like that's going to happen.
Well, I think that is true, and part of what I have been told by one person that's sitting on the UL board is this is also about lowering the liability by making it not criminal for the manufacturers, but making it criminal for us. Yeah. Now, if any of the board members from UL want to come on and dispute that, again, I qualified that with this is what I've heard from a credible source. So we would love to hear from that. And as a matter of fact, why is it voluntary for the manufacturers, but it's a law for me? So these manufacturers,
because you're the one that's easier to go after.
I don't have we need to come up with, like Adam was saying the other day, we need to come up with an association that has some kind of power as gate operator owners. And when I say we, I'm no longer own it. I own a gate operator business, but I'm no longer
not just owners. It ain't just owners. It's everybody.
Yeah.
The people that work for you own their pay and own what they got to do to get their pay. It's everybody. Just need a platform. This is the platform right here. If you want to come on.
Yeah, we want to. Anthony, we want to get back on it. Oh, man. Yeah, well, but that's the whole thing. We don't want you to shut up. Come on here. Tell us how we're wrong. Tell us what we're doing wrong, and tell us what you're doing right. Because what's going to happen is I'm just going to steal all your ideas and implement it in my business. I mean, that's it. I'm all for it. I'm not saying everything I'm doing is right. So, anyways, that was supposed to be.
Nothing you do is right, Michael.
Ain't that? Look at this hair. I'm not doing anything right. Well, yeah. If you see my welds, you would know. That's true.
You can't weld worth a damn.
Hey, man, I saw it on TV, so I can't watch some YouTube
you learn
videos.
How to weld off of YouTube, man.
I did, man. Hey, I do.
Gate operators. No, I'm just joking.
Here's what I do. I have a good ground and a good welder. That's the only way I can even qualify myself as a welder. That's the only two things I know. Make sure you have a good ground, and I got a little Miller 140 that I love to use. Man, I've seen these guys using these small little welders lately, like this $300. They're burning into 3/16 and quarter inch, no problem.
I got a flux cord Lincoln 210. And I plug it into my generator and using 120 volts. And Man, I
Yeah,
can weld all damn day long with that thing.
that's a good brand name welder. But I'm talking about things that are like 14 inches long, 12 inches high. Only
Yeah.
take a 1 pound spool in there, and literally
Yeah.
you could lift it up with one finger. I
Well, they
forgot
got
what.
them now with battery, like look like a power drill with a stick rod. I was thinking about getting one of those where it's battery powered, and you can
Oh
stick it
yeah.
in there and just weld like it's just like it looks like a cordless drill, but it has you can
Oh
put a rod in it and you can weld
yeah.
like that. I said that's pretty cool to do like a
I
quick
seen
weld or
that.
something.
I want to know if anybody is actually using that. Going back to what we said, James Dunn, Red, he was saying that common sense. Yeah, that's what we need.
No, that doesn't work. Common sense doesn't
This
work.
doesn't work. Common
No.
sense is so uncommon. But going back to what's going on in the gate world, I don't know if anybody has been. I know you've put in a couple of BFTs, but
Yes.
they've got a couple of gate operators that they've announced. They've been out for a while, but they still list them as new. The barrier arms. I really like their barrier arm because the LED that's on top that surrounds the
Yeah.
whole thing. It's
Hmm.
RGB, so it has like a million different colors, but each color signifies what's going on with the gate operator. So before you actually get out there, the homeowner, the guard technician, the HOA management, they can tell you what's going on. Now, when
Hmm.
you and I talked about the BFTs before that you installed, what were
Yeah.
they? Was it just barrier arms, or did you
And
actually?
all of them. I had all of them. I installed every kind they had.
Oh yeah, did
Yeah.
I did I have that on the screen?
Yeah.
I did a second ago. Is it still on the
Well,
screen
I
now?
don't. No, no, no. It's not on the screen. I didn't
Eh,
see it.
all right, sorry. I thought it was
But
on.
they're good operators. I still got some of them out there that they're still going.
Oh, I know why it's not showing. Sorry, everybody. Um,
Just my mic. Some reason they don't want to stay up. There we go.
all right. Well, while you're doing that, I could try to find out why this thing ain't working.
Yeah, where's
Anyways,
my uncensored podcasters out there? Where you at? What you doing? I'm calling you out.
yeah.
Robert
That's,
Evers Unleashed. DJ Evers. Boom, boom, boom. He
how's the
tired of
DJ
playing
business?
games with people. It's
How's
doing good.
is it?
Yeah, I've been playing three or four shows a week here lately.
So 3 or 4 shows a week. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell everybody out there where they can find more out about DJ Ever's services.
You can go to djevers.com on Google. You
On
can go
Google.
to Facebook and DJ Evers Entertainment. You can look me up on the website and my phone number will be there, or you can email me at raevers82gmail.com.
I
If you
want to
want
see,
the best dancing DJ around, look up djevers.com.
and you're a karaoke smith as well too. You were doing
I'm
karaoke
everything.
dancers, are you?
I, I can have you a band, whatever kind of band you want. I can have anything you want with entertainment, all the way to comedy.
Do you have? Oh yeah, you're real funny. Do you have a list of the equipment that you have on there?
No, I don't list equipment.
All right, man.
It
You ain't a real,
depends
you ain't a
on
real DJ.
list of equipment would depend on if what they want out of my services, and then
No. How
if I
many
don't
people?
have it, I would say I had to go rent it or something.
Gotcha.
And
So
sometimes I have to
anyways,
do that.
going back to BFT, anyways, they've got some new gate operators that have been out for a while. I thought it was on screen a second ago, but it obviously wasn't. But you can go to, I think it's bft-automation.com and check out what those gate operators are. Again, I think the barrier arms are really cool because of the different colors that indicate what's going on with the barrier arm without even checking out the opening up the barrier arm and seeing what's going on. I didn't know they did garage doors, but apparently they do.
Everybody does everything. That's the thing about it. They all do everything. All these
Uh,
companies.
oh, they do. They do
Yeah,
everything.
they all got a garage door opener, a gate opener. You know, they're
Well,
getting the same parts from somebody else, so who knows?
speaking of people who have everything, PPA, a lot of people that I know, I used to be one of them, would stay away from PPA. And I know people that have had quite a few problems with them, the older ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And, 10 years ago, whenever they were trying to come into the market. But I just put one in over at the Finch University, about 2 months ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I was actually impressed with it. But I thought, oh goodness, excuse me.
Put your damn yawn.
Don't forget, guys. We're going to be starting at 5 p.m. Eastern now, not 5 p.m. Pacific, and that's probably the reason why, so we could get to bed early. But anyways, but the thing with PPA gate operators now is because they've gone under the UL 325 testing, that they meet or exceed the same standards that Liftmaster and everybody else have, right? And I didn't know
Yeah.
that durability. I didn't know that. Well, I wouldn't say durability per se, but like measuring the heat of the motor, how many cycles that it goes, and how many cycles it does, and all that stuff is part of their measurements. Now,
Yeah.
you got to keep in mind that they're going to measure washer and dryers the next day. So we're not talking about like the guys who are testing the UL gate operators aren't like bona fide automatic gate experts. They're just bona fide metrologists. They just know how to use test equipment, but they wouldn't know the difference between a gate operator that goes 1,000 cycles a day or 10 cycles a day. If it's not on their sheet, they're not going to test it. But that's a conversation for another time. So I thought it was interesting, but I don't think the PPAs that you had when you
BFT.
were doing it. What's that? Oh,
I
a
had
BFT.
BFT.
Sorry. Yeah. So have you put any PPAs in?
Never, not yet, not yet. No.
They are actually selling them in Control Products in Florida. Because they're a Brazilian company, they've made a lot of traction with the Spanish-speaking population. As a matter of fact, some of the stuff that's actually on their board and stuff like that is reminiscent of that dialect. But you got a Brazilian background as well, too, right?
Yes, man. Borretos, Brazil.
Oh yeah,
Yep. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See, let's hold on for a second right there. Brazil, Europe, maybe China, and all these other countries. Man, they got a shit ton load of gate operators. Every house has a wall around it, and they have a gate operator of some sort on it. And I mean, it's going on everywhere. So America, we could say the East Coast of America is starting to pick up a little bit more now versus maybe the West Coast or Dallas, Texas areas. And the East Coast got a lot of gate operators being installed and have been installed, but they're starting to be more popular now on the East Coast. And they're going up everywhere. And this is it. Why is it? Because there's people walking through people's property and they want the gates to close when they drive out their house or whatever off the property, and to have a peace of mind. So and there's a lot of a lot of stuff going on with that coming this way, and there's going to be a big demand for it. But there's a big demand for the gate operators to be installed, but hardly anybody to do it. And
yeah.
then they're going to throw all these other regulations to make it even harder for us to even hire people to do it.
Well, and that's the thing is it's still not going to change anything. The companies that have the insurance, whatever it is, whatever the shit that they throw on there, the companies that meet all that stuff, it doesn't mean that they're going to meet those standards. It has nothing to do with that. And we see that, like I said, I saw that in Nevada. 25 years of that being a law, it just doesn't fucking happen. Our boy Brian Davis out in Texas said, "What's up?" I talked to him the other day. He's going to be on the podcast here pretty soon. I'm going to you might got to fly to Dallas and get
I'm
him
going to
on
send him a damn a laptop.
Oh yeah, is that what his
Yeah.
complaint was? He got no laptop.
No, he needs
Oh
a quiet room. We're gonna send him a container from
yeah.
China. He can get inside of it. We'll put Wi-Fi in there for him. Then he can get
Well,
on, come on the show.
happy Father's Day to you, Brian,
Yeah,
and
happy Father's Day, Brian.
happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Oh, J Security team, we're ready for the next Finch Cruise. DJ Evers on stage again.
Yeah.
Do you go by different stage name if you're just doing the karaoke and not providing the sound?
No,
Do you
no,
have
no.
karaoke Evers?
Yeah, I do all kind of stupid stuff, but um, DJ Evers came about a couple years ago. Um, I'm also known as the Beach Music Cowboy.
Uh-oh.
So that's a nickname that somebody can. But it's DJ Evers is my DJ name, and then I'm going to make a new band, and I'm going to call it the Lakeside Band. So
Is it going to be sound the same people as the Pink Slips, or just
some of
different?
them, some of
Oh
them.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, anyways, if these are if anybody's interested, which you better be, you're watching the show. These are the two gate operators right now that meet UL 325 that PPA makes. So they meet or exceed the same standards that Liftmaster and all these other manufacturers make. They set the standards.
Yeah.
PPA said, okay, if that's what the standards y'all want to be, so they meet them. So I put one of these in at the Finch University, and I tell you, man, I thought this little programmer was the stupidest thing ever. I mean, it feels like just the cheapest piece of crap, right? It feels like a Nintendo game controller, right? However, it lets you program all of the stuff without even taking out of the box. And then you get to see you could actually program whether it's a pulse or normally closed photo eye. You could program your receivers. You could do your limits. You could do how fast it starts, how slow it stops, and so on, all through that little controller. But this is just a real quick video, and these are the two models that are now UL 325 for really, really reasonable cost. This one, the big one right here, is 3,500 pounds. Now, I did not install that one. The one that I installed was the smaller one over here. And this is just off their Facebook page. This one right here. Now, this is a form factor that seems to be pretty popular in other countries. You can't fit very much stuff in there, but seems to be pretty popular. This is their normally closed photo eye with the reflector. It comes with one. I don't see why manufacturers do that. Like Liftmaster, they come with a photo eye and an edge.
But they don't. Cheaper than a photo eye.
Yeah, but when you have to go buy the wireless kit, which they don't send with it, what's the point? I just go tell everybody to go buy a new photo eye. So
photo eye is better than the edge.
Than their edge, because these guys aren't installing them properly. I've had a couple of problems with their wireless edge kit, the wireless part of it, but I've had more success with it than not success. So I would still put that edge kit in there. I'd rather use an EMX Well 200, but if it's Liftmaster, I'm just going to put that in there and make sure that it gets installed properly. But they've been doing a good job with it. I think this is actually what the American version of that smaller gate operator looks like. So, but the stand in the bottom is open. So you got to keep in mind, the first thing that, in my opinion, that you're going to have to do with this is you probably need to install a box next to it to put all your accessories, your loop detectors, and all that stuff. But anyways, so PPA is now UL 325 certified, I think, just for those two gate operators. And for the price that they're at, I mean, you're talking about maybe even less than half of a comparable gate operator. Now, the ones that I saw only came with one photo eye, so you will need to buy another photo eye. What's James talking about? He said, "You mean the black thing that goes on the bottom of the box?" Just kidding. So he must have been talking about
goes inside the box too.
Oh, all right, man. That's an inside joke, man. I'm not on the inside. Well, anyways, I thought that was interesting. I had an interesting conversation with Liftmaster Tech Support this week, and I wanted to ask you a question. So, do
Yeah.
you think that tech support in general with the access control and automatic gate companies, do you think that they're getting better, worse, or the same?
Well, let me tell you my experience first, then you can tell me yours. I put in the LA 400. I worked for a couple of days. Guy left the power, turned the breaker off, lost power. I went back. Batteries are dead, so I took two new batteries with me, put them in there. The gate wouldn't work properly. The limits wouldn't set. So I left, told the guy I got to come back because I had to go somewhere else. I was going to look at another big job I got. So I left, had to come back another day, and then had tech support on the phone. Um, and then he proceeded to tell me I needed a new arm. Well, I told him I've been doing this for 25 years. I said, I know for a fact that it's not the actuator arm, that it's the board. That's why my limits won't set. He said, well, that's with the code that comes on, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, give me your RMA, which is great. They gave me your RMA, whatever you, RMA is, whatever you want to call it. They gave it to me. They sent me the arm. I drove all the way back out there. Did not work. Same problem. Same
Exactly.
problem. And I said, and then I got a different um, agent on the phone or tech support person.
Yeah.
And I told them specifically, I said, look, I'm not going to go through all this with you with the voltmeter and crap like that. I said, I've been doing this 25 years. I said, I told the guy the first time that I did not think it was the arm. We've done a couple different tests to see what it was. And then I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Now I got to come back. And this is 45 miles away from my shop, my home. And a good client of mine has been with me for 30 years. So, and then the lady goes, yeah, we'll go ahead and give you RMX. So I'm getting the board. Now whenever I get the board in, I got to go back out there.
Yeah.
So I got a brand new arm. Then I'm going to have a brand new board, brand new batteries. And I hope it works.
What was it?
There's silence on that one, ain't
Yeah. Well,
it? I hope it works. Okay. And it should work. But you know,
well,
and what I think is going on with that, I think some of these people has no experience, but they're following the pamphlet, which is no problem. That's fine. But when they talk with somebody that's got 25 years of experience, they need to acknowledge that. And my name is in the database of Liftmaster for a long time.
yeah.
I mean, I've called Liftmaster a long time ago, and they're in there. And there's a good lady that I used to talk to. I can't remember her name. Man, she's from Arizona. I remember I used to talk to her all the time, and she was good. She was awesome.
Yeah.
And I could talk with her, and bam, 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 and we could figure it out if I had a problem. It's kind of different now for some reason.
Well, I think what you talked about, well, I guess this is specifically about Liftmaster, but I think what you talked about is
No. It's not just
no,
Liftmaster. It's all of
no,
them.
no. I'm just saying that the thing that you brought up, because I'm going to say specifically about Liftmaster, as I think that that's what they have is a bunch of people just reading the pamphlet. But this is what happened to me. So I had two dual LE 500s, and for whatever reason, couldn't set the limits. First one on the same property, brand new installation. The first one, for whatever reason, they wouldn't set the limits. So ran through the manual, had a new guy with me. He ran through the manual. Then we ran through the manual again. Whatever reason it was, couldn't get them set. So called Liftmaster tech support, and I, in essence, was training the new guy but it's been so. I took the LE500s out of my catalog forever and a day ago, so I don't sell them. But just so happens I'm working on some, and he said, "This is what I want you to do," which was the opposite of what the manual said. And I said, made that comment, and he said his answer to that was, "Well, this is what I do." So you tell me, if I'm training a new guy and this is what tech support does, but the manual says something different, how am I supposed to train that new guy to read the manual first and then call me, then call tech support? So I had that.
That's a good question.
And, yeah, exactly, right? Because that's a big complaint that I had a long time ago when I was putting a solar power gate operator in for Liftmaster. The first thing that it says, the first step is turn to page 24 and do this. I'm like, well, why don't y'all just make page 24 the first step, you know? So anyways, and then he said something that I thought was hilarious, and I put this out on the Facebook forums. He told me, so then I went to the other one, and the other one I kept getting 94, just setting the limits, right? And took the gate, put it in manual mode, open and closed it, couldn't find a bad spot. It opened and closed just fine, because I think 94 was like resistance or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, there's a couple of splices in the actuator cable. Maybe there is a resistance issue and it's drawing too much current. Maybe there is a current draw issue, and maybe it's thinking that there's something there. So his comment to me was, I said, well, there's a couple of splices. His comment to me was, the wiring is crucial. I was like, the wiring is crucial. Okay. Our whole job is fucking wiring. The wiring, of course, is always crucial. You're telling me it's at some point in time, the wiring is not crucial to where I could put the positive on the negative and the negative on the positive, or I could just indiscriminately wire shit up? The wiring is always crucial. So for a tech support person to tell a technician out in the field that the wiring is crucial, I thought was just absolutely hilarious. And I thought it was perfect example of them going, them showing their ass that they've never actually been in the field to tell a technician that the wiring is crucial. So I thought that was funny, but I wanted to bring up a couple other things. I had an issue with Door King. Here's James's comment on this. Yes, I kept Ellen Bohr swing and slide in stocks. Also had a bad arm out of the box. Ellen has let me down so bad. Apollo Titan doesn't soft start. U.S. Automatic, American Armor, Automatic, tech support fucking sucks. Quality control. Also, now homeowners are buying the Liftmaster names off of the internet and screwing us. That's a conversation for another time. But if you can go to Home Depot and buy an LA500, yeah, it's just going to be like their garage doors.
They're not buying it at Home Depot. They're buying them off the internet.
Well,
I've had that happen a couple times.
In the let's see, gate. Well, let's just check that out, because the one thing that
screw you if you're doing that. Screw you, because now you're taking that responsibility of UL 325 to the customer too. So what's going on? If you're gonna stop something. Don't be half-assing this shit.
So let's see if what he's talking about is right. I mean, I know the people that are buying them in truckloads from Liftmaster, knowing that they're not installing them, that they're just selling them. And I'm sure every manufacturer is doing that. And to be honest with you, I don't blame them. They are under a tremendous amount of pressure by these venture capitalist companies that are saying, look, you need to make this by the end of the quarter or you don't have a job. So let's do this. I mean, maybe we're fucking wrong. So let's see this.
I know they don't sell them in Home Depot around here where I'm at. So
no, I'm not saying.
But they can buy them off the internet from another company that's a sister company, or somebody else that's bought a company that will sell them to the public, and they let people install them, or they'll call a gate technician like me to install it. I've done it several times with LA400s.
Yeah, and I know people that are out there they're like, I get paid the same to install a ghost image, the problem, my question is like, don't you have a warranty or a quality standard that you want to stick by? Because look, man, I don't care if a customer calls me 30 days after I installed any kind of fucking gate operator. I'm not just going to be like, well,
Hey,
you're kind of fucked.
all your gate companies out there do not provide warranty. Quit it. Stop it. It's just a sales pitch y'all just using it for, and half of y'all don't need warranty. What y'all do? Just stop providing warranty.
All right, can you see that Home Depot screen on there? Hold on. Yeah, I can. Okay, so
Yeah,
here's what
it.
All right, so here's what you can buy at Home Depot, and I do recognize that these aren't possibly in the store. Okay, so there you go.
But it's on their website though, and that's the
It's on their website. Yeah. So there's Mighty Mule, which is linear. Ghost Controls, which I think is an independent company. Mighty Mule, linear. This linear is an interesting gate operator. I worked on one before. It's the Pro 3000, which is basically like the GTO Pro 3000 or whatever.
Has he got the photo eyes and all that there?
No, because this one doesn't have to have photo eyes.
Wow.
They have both monitoring systems in the arm, or it's a low energy actuator arm, and it doesn't have to have photo eyes. So here's a Lico, here's Vivor. Look at this. Everybody got Vivor on their
I've seen those. I've seen a couple people have those. That's just a cheap operator. And I have people send me pictures that, hey, do you think this is a good operator? It's $400. And I'm like, well, you got to spend about $3,500 for me. You know,
what about Doradu?
For an operator like that.
I never heard of Doradu. 220.
Man, they got all kinds. Man, they're just making stuff from China and sending it over here and putting stickers on it. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
But look at this. Look at this. Look at this. These have people are buying these. There's 20. There's 22.
Yes, they're everywhere.
The people are buying them. So why aren't we focused on that type of stuff when they're talking about safer gate operators? This is what happens.
That's what I'm saying. Why not? I mean, what's going on with these people? Why go after these guys? These Liftmaster, Door King, all y'all guys, y'all need to go after these guys, or taking your work from you, or taking your sales from you.
So my question is why isn't the American Fence Association, who's a trade association for fence and gate operator installers, why aren't they protecting the installer?
Yeah, American Fence Association. This is what we're going to do, or I'm going to do. I won't include Michael Brooks in it, but if he's want to, we can. We're going to take these products. I'm going to get me the biggest booth out there, and we're going to have every one of them products out there, and say, hey, these are great products for $500.
And what's that?
How would they feel about that?
Well, I mean, if we paid for a $25,000 booth and a $50,000 sponsorship, they wouldn't give a fuck about it. They don't give a fuck. I mean, so this is not about the installer. They're not protecting the installer. All the trade
is not for the installer. That is for the end user right there. That's for the somebody to do it yourself type of thing.
So why would they protect us if we're not giving them any money? So that's exactly what it's about. This is about money and about power. Look, the Lico's ETL, which is basically UL, Ghost Controls.
Look up Topin.
All right, give me 1 second. I just want to see what's on here. I got one other thing that I want to look at as well, too. So let me just look at this last page so we can get it out of the way. The estate gate. Ooh, naughty.
Ooh.
Yeah, but why aren't these manufacturers protecting us? I mean, we're out there buying their product, and they're out there selling it to Home Depot to anybody that'll buy it. Look, this is linear. This is high security.
It's a money grab.
Yeah,
I mean, they might as well have lottery tickets for gate operator installers. This is brought to you by We Don't Give a Damn.
Well, the other thing is, man, I'm not insulting anybody, individual guy out there. The guy that I talk to at tech support, he's not the guy that's making these decisions. He's not fucking out there doing this. Even the regional sales managers, they're not making these decisions. You might have one guy out there that's been there with them for 100 years that somebody thinks that, oh, we should listen to this guy. But no, they're not the ones. I'm not picking on them. I'm not even really picking on anybody. I'm just questioning why don't you protect us, man?
Well, I'm gonna say this: all these products right here, I do not recommend you doing this at home. Thank you.
Yes. End of story. 100. So Tractor Supply. Let me just do one other thing.
Mighty Mill. I had a guy came up to me while I was installing. I was working at a school maintenance shop on there putting loops in, and this dude come to me and said, "Hey, my church needing the gate operator." I said, "Are the gates good gates and they're hung salt? They're just farm gates." I said, "Well, you're gonna need new gates in." He goes, "Well, how much you talking?" I said around 12, 15,000. Oh, I'll get me a Mighty Mule. I said, "Well, they won't work, and God will provide for a better gate operator." That's what I told him.
Look, man, we're not trying to. If you're going to insult us and what we do,
that was insulting.
Yeah,
to me as a professional, you're gonna get a Mighty Mule. How many Mighty Mules have I took off? I can make a mountain of Mighty Mules that I took off.
Well, that right there is the people that work for Mighty Mule, people work for Linear, people work for Ghost Controls. They're all good people. I'm sure they're nice people.
No. When you call tech support for a Mighty Mule, you won't get Mighty Mule.
Oh, who will you get?
Nortec.
Yeah. So in the Nortex High Security, they got bought by High Security.
Mm-hmm. So you won't get no tech support from Mighty Mule itself. Who's that?
That's Gary House. I believe he's out of Arizona. This is a great conversation. The demographic I'm working in, 9 out of 10 customers want these junk operators because of the price point. Do you installers out there understand what we're talking about? We're trying to protect your business. We're not bitching about the fucking employee at fucking Mighty Mule. We're not bitching about those guys. They're trying to work and provide for their family. We're just telling you, in order to protect your business, in order to have a quality product, these are the things you need to be thinking about. If you're not going to offer a warranty and you're just going to say, go fuck yourself, well, hey, man, then get it down to the lowest penny that you can and fucking charge $200 an hour to install it and call it a day. But this agenda that's being pushed, that somehow you think a law, a licensing agency, a permit process is going to protect your business from the people that are out there installing it. 25 years in Nevada. That's all I got to say. It does not do it. It increases.
And look at all the junk they had out there. Junk. I've seen the pictures.
Drive from the airport to the show at South Point University. At South Point Hotel and Casino.
South Point. Woo! October, South Point. Woo, woo.
For those of you guys who don't know, and by the way, there's actually some good news too. Here's the other thing, Mal. Why is it that I can call the Fence Workers Association, who I have personal friends at? All right, Brian's my friend, Susan's my friend, Sean's, and I was contract labor for the Fence University, which is owned by the FWA, blah blah blah, not to be used by Ricky Bobby Inc. All the qualifiers that go along with that. Shake and bake, man. Why can I call them up? Why can you call up the president of NAFCA and those guys pick up the phone and the American Fence Association won't even respond to our emails? Like, did you notice that they never responded to our emails? Out of all those 6 or 7 people, they never responded.
They don't think about us.
Well, that's true.
We're not on their radar. They don't care. But guess what? You're on my radar, bud.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Whatchamacallit put out that video about the American Fence Association. That's some interesting.
Oh, you talking about Mark Olson?
Yeah.
That was a great video, and I love Mark to death. So, I mean, look, the dude said, "Hey, American Fence Association, whatever you want to call them, You need to invest into the modern things of time, which is the internet, people. The days of mailing stuff is over. Not really, but basically
I
it is
don't
over.
agree with that. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it
Yeah,
is over. But you need to invest $250,000 in a YouTube channel, and
yeah.
it'll take you some time. Well, they didn't listen to him. Now look what he did. He invested his time. He went and learned how to edit it, or hired somebody to learn how to edit, set up um his roadcaster and stuff. Whatever they did, they made their own studio, like a lot of other people did too when they first started doing it. But he went in there and did it, and he goes in there and does these crazy videos about learning about the product that he's offering or that he's trying to sell out to the end users, or trying to get out information to other fence companies and gate installers like us.
Well,
And
that's
then
a
he's
whole
bringing out these problems that they're having in their organizations because they really don't care. Because if they
from
cared, the guy that I helped train doing some gate operators in Tennessee, he wouldn't have had to call me. He wouldn't have to hire me. So what's
yep.
going on?
Well, what their part of their answer to that was this, and they didn't necessarily like. I'm down for helping the American Fence Association. I'm down for helping gate operator technicians, and if that means that I got to go through the American Fence Association to do that, that's cool. And this is a perfect example. Sam Natello, from what I understand, let's see if his logo is still here on the bottom. Yeah, Sam Natello built this website for the American Fence Association called FenceHubLive.com. And I was listening to it when it launched and all that stuff. And what he did is they put my pictures and other pictures on there without our permission, saying that they were going to create this environment for us to be able to get information to technicians. So once Sam reached out to me, I was like, okay, well, that's no problem. And you can take a look at these videos right here. These are all videos that I sent them links to. Not all of these, but that one's mine. The fifth one's mine. The seventh one's mine. And there used to be quite a bit more. Maybe they're deleting all my stuff off there. There's one right there in the middle. That's mine. There was just all gate operator stuff. I sent them, I mean, links to hundreds of videos and hundreds of pictures that I told them that they could use live. They treat me like a fucking jerk. That's actually that whole thing right there pisses me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was their attempt at doing it, and it sucked. I don't necessarily agree with Mark that was it, and I do. And I took issue the other day, like if he's giving out private information, which I'm not sure he is or not.
No, I don't see.
When he was talking about the salaries,
that's not private information.
Well, here's what's interesting. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. I didn't know that this was all going to be about American Fence Association and how
this is a discussion. This is internet. We talk about shit.
There you go.
I mean, the gloves are off now.
Well,
your pants are down, and we're going to punch you where it hurts.
Well, I do agree with that. They were not nice to me. So
let me tell y'all something out there. I supported Michael Brooks before all this stuff happened. For them not being nice to Michael, I found Michael on YouTube videos. Then I found the FWA, and I saw where he was going to be out there, and so I went out to the FWA first show in Vegas to go talk to Michael about just to meet him and talk about gate operators in general and all that. Well, now it blossomed into this, and then after we came back home from that visit for the first show, he was getting attacked by different people because of the way he was expressing himself. Okay, by different manufacturers or whatever. I'm not going to name no names, and I'm not going to do that. Let's don't do that. But they attacked him and called him out and saying some negative stuff. They had no business doing that because I'm a fan of Michael Brooks, of what he was doing, because it helped me out with my multimeter stuff. It was helping me out explaining things to other people what's going on. And then I helped Michael out on, he asked me some questions. We had some common knowledge, and then we made a bond and a friendship. And then, he said, you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, well, I'm an entertainer already, like music crap. I said,
Yeah.
we could do this. And I've been watching all the podcasts that were on, which I loved every one of them. And so I'm like, yeah, we could do this, and I'll support you, and I'll get my roadcaster, I'll get everything you need and all that. And so he can have a way to express it. But he's passionate about what he's talking about. He's not being negative. He's just bringing it up in his way he brings it up. And some people have threatened to beat him up, some old fat guy with a goatee. And, hey, I'm calling you out, fat guy, fat boy with a big belly button probably. But anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just talking junk. Don't believe a word I say, people.
No, that was true. And not fucking one person.
Excuse me, do believe what I say. Fat boy with a big belly button.
Person in that room of over 100 people fucking stood up for me.
I can talk all the junk because I told Mike, I said, I'm going to be silent. I'm going to be quiet. But when it's time to go, I'm going to go. And I'm sick and tired of y'all trying to blackball him. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. He's a great technician, a great person. He'd do anything for everybody. And y'all need to stop it.
The manufacturers, I mean, they should recognize that I'm trying to lower the number of calls that they get. I'm not trying to, my training and stuff that I do, which, by the way, shameless plug, I'll be doing more training. My training and stuff is not because I wanted to be a trainer or I thought I was some great installer. It's because we were being told that this was gate installation class and it was sales class. So let's not get it fucking twisted of why the fuck I'm doing it. It does help me with two.
Well, that's not why you're doing it. But I'm telling the story about people bashing you on the internet and Facebook and stuff, and then making private phone calls to certain people because what you say and what your opinion is on your own Facebook page. It's nobody's business. I got a Facebook page. You got a Facebook page. Everybody else has got a Facebook page. You can put whatever you want on it, as long as you're not discriminating, being stupid, but you can say what you want on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty nasty. And I've had to apologize for some stuff that I said. I reached out to a gentleman the other day. You know who he is. I don't know if I told you I reached out to him or not. But I was like, dude, look, man, this is where I stepped over the line. I apologize for it. I'm doing it in the cause of this, and I need you on my side, not against me. And I'm sure I've ruffled more than one person's feathers. But if you're going to tell me you're going to fucking kick my ass and you know that I'm going to be in fucking fence tech and my day is coming and all of that shit, then.
And that was said. I saw it with my own eyes in the text.
And here's what the thing is nobody at American Fence Association, nobody at Fence Tech fucking said shit about that. All right. But I go in there, I ask a podcast or something, and then all of a sudden I'm a fucking pariah, right? But long and short of it is, man, they want to get it the fuck on. We can get it the fuck on, man. It is what it is. It's cost me.
They're gonna beat your ass, Michael.
Well, let's. Oh, and by the way, let's just make sure that this is clear. When I make a statement like that, I am not talking about a physical threat, man. I am talking about verbal communication, a winning of hearts and minds. This is not, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want a physical threat. And I don't think it should be acceptable for people to physically threaten me. All right. And that's happened more than once. And like I said, there's been not anybody that stood up for me. So I appreciate those words. But here's what I was talking about when Mark was talking about people's. Now, keep in mind, I am not an accountant. I do not know how to read the American Fences 990. Returnable organization exempt from tax form.
You ain't got to explain all that. We know you don't know nothing.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So I'm a gate tech. I'm not fucking anything special. So that's the salary, other compensation, employee benefits, $256,000. Now, from what Mark said, that is just the executive director's pay. All right.
I don't know.
I know. I'm just telling you. This is where I was talking. I'm not trying to call it mark or anything. I'm just saying that that's the only thing is like, yo, man. I mean, I want, and that's why some of this stuff I don't ever name any names is because I ask people, can I make this public, right? And they say no. And if it's a private conversation, I don't make it public, right? So if that's the case, he said this publicly, and if that right there is the number of all the American Fence Association employees, that's $250,000. That's Mike Reed's salary. So how much does Nick Wright make? How much does Catherine make? And that's another $400,000 or $500,000 a year, maybe more than that. And I know that there's more employees there than just that. So if that's the case, then, and he looks like he got a pretty big raise from the prior year to this year. If that's the case, then maybe that other information is private and it's the management company that is paying those people. So we don't know what their salary is because the management company can spend anything that they want on anything. They are not a public entity. They are just a service that the American Fence Association pays to provide. And this is interesting. It's got some of their income and stuff. They came off of COVID not doing so good. They shut their offices down and let go of some employees. But still, I mean, revenue less expenses, so they profited $1 million last in 2022. So if that's the case, then am I wrong that there was some private information given that only the board has information to?
Yeah, well, who knows? You know, they should give some of that money back.
Well, my contention is they should take Nick Wright's salary and Catherine's salary and maybe even Michael Reed's salary and donate that money to fallover protection for gates. That's the only way that they're ever going to make gates safer, because what they're doing right now is making gates less safe. So if we took that and then we took all the money that they're spending on lobbying politicians and advertising for the Consumer Protection Agency in Washington, D.C., man, we could really make some gates safer.
Nobody care about making gates safer.
Not on their end, they don't. Let me ask you, I'll ask them this. If you had to do it for free, would you do it? Because I've been doing it for fucking free for the last 15 fucking years, right? So I've been training my competitors out there. I had the American Fence Association at every one of my classes but one class. And that was January of last year. That was the only one. And that was the one that right after Tony Thornton had his little gate safety meeting where the guy threatened me in front of everybody. The gate safety meeting, I came back and you and I started talking about stuff. That's when we got to, that's when we really got together and started talking about shit. And I said, I'm doing a class. I said, I'm doing a class next week. And that's the only reason why the American Fence Association wasn't invited to that, because it was boom, I'm doing it no matter what. We got to make gates safer. And that's also when I did when I called out all these accessory manufacturers as well too, and distributors. The distributors need to create a retrofit kit, and the manufacturers need to give them a break on the price if they buy them together and in bulk. That we have a retrofit kit that comes with 2 photo eyes or a photo eye, a wireless kit, and an edge. All right. And they need to make it to where it's inexpensive and overnight we can make gates safer. But if you're going to continue to charge, full price, and this particular person, which I'm not against, I'm a capitalist, make money. I don't give a crap. But why?
If you want to make gates safer, just pray.
Just pray. Yeah. That's all they've been doing. Hey, what's up, Chris? Christopher's out there saying what's up.
Hey, Chris.
James, you're going to have to get on here and prove your point, man. You can't just be saying random shit.
It's a money scheme. Give me your money. Give me your money. I want your money.
And even when you give them the money, and that's the thing is we're the customers of the American Fence Association. I'm the fucking customer. I'm the manufacturer's customer. The manufacturer just recently threatened my friends and my friends' businesses for me saying what the fuck. I don't think I told you about that.
Guess what? I'm going out of business, so don't worry about threatening me. Because you want to know why I'm going out of business? Because of you.
Because the Lico gate operators are overtaking North Carolina
So
market.
don't worry about going after me. I'm out. Bam. I'm in the music business, but I got a backup plan. Bump, 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 bump.
Well, anyways, long and short of it is, for you guys that are just joining, we only meant to take a little bit of time about the American Fence Association being good or bad for gate companies. I would like to get them.
If anybody can tell me what this is, let me know.
It's a power supply for K2, L3, or H10.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Kiss my ass.
Damn, you can't mess with me on that stuff, man. I'm just smartest gate tech that
okay. If you got stuff laying around your office like that, just, and if you don't talk to me. You ain't got nothing on me. Nothing.
Yeah. No, not the North Carolina boys.
Oh, all right. Look. Well, I even got a fire extinguisher. Oh my God. You can't come after me. You can't do it.
Hey, man,
hold on. Hold on. Woo! You got that right. It ain't on my damn truck, is it? Oh,
yeah, it ain't on your damn truck.
So I got it on the truck too.
James Dunn was right. It's a toroidal transformer. So there you go.
All right, Texas you win, and I'm gonna give you the same thing I got you last year. Nothing.
So look, for all you guys that are out there listening, all you big six people, look, man, spread this message about we want we're going to have the vice president of the FWA on the 29th, Mr. Sean King. Oh, and by the way, he's got training coming up here in a couple of weeks. You can go to Mr. Fence Academy on Eventbrite. He's got gate operator and gate training, gate installation training, and fence training in Evansville, Indiana. So check that out. It was a fun class last time that I went. Learned a lot about fencing. Got to pound them. If it ain't raining, he ain't training. So I got that.
He was getting rained on the other day. And listen, we're just running our mouth too and having fun. So don't take us seriously, you know. But we're just making noise to see if anybody's going to respond. That's what I want. I want some response.
We invite, like I said, I mean, if we can get the president of NAFCA or the executive director of NAFCA and Fence Workers Association president and executive director, we've got the vice president on a couple times. Why won't the American Fence Association come on and tell us where all that money's going? Where our membership dues, not my membership dues.
No, they ain't got to tell us all that. They can just tell us the good stuff that they want to tell us.
Which is?
Just the same old. Come shake my hand and smile. And
you will save $45,000.
We've got these schools and stuff and gate operator classes, and you better hurry up. They're going to fill up.
Yeah,
we got 60 slots left.
I am proud of them getting the prices down to reasonable prices by doing the training that we were doing. You used to go to those classes for $3,500 a class.
I never went to those classes. Never went to those classes.
The biggest thing that I've heard this more than once, is that Nick Reich stands up at the front of the gate automation design class and he goes, well, I haven't looked at the test in 5 years, so I don't know what you guys don't know. So why don't you just ask me questions? Have you ever been to a class where the instructor goes, just start asking me questions about something you don't know? It's just like, dude, what a waste of time. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So anybody that has any opinion for us, against us, or whatever, let's get this thing going. Let's get this conversation going.
Yeah, please everything. Come and talk, and we can be professional too.
Who?
Well, not
when you
me,
say we,
but,
well, not me either.
Not me, but we can be professional, talking back and forth, for polite and all that, and use etiquette words and all that stuff. And
polite. We can.
Which these guys are not the most brightest and genius talkers anyway. So,
well, one of us is. So out of the two smoothest operators, I'm definitely the smoothest with my lyrics, with my body. So what do we got planned for next week? I think I got Cap XS and something else going in. How do you like the Cap stuff? Have you installed a Cap XL, Cap M, Cap XL V2? Cap XS call box by Liftmaster?
Never installed one yet.
What's your go to for call boxes right now?
Right now, I'm using Secure Brand.
Oh, are you another
Hmm.
Texas company? Yeah,
Yeah, they're great. I just put one in the other day, and um, matter of fact, it was a barrier arm gate that got hit by a dump truck. Long story. Just about all that safety stuff we just talked about
yeah.
first half. So I redid everything, and they wanted to have an app. So I've been using Secure Brand for the past year, and I sold it. I put it in. It didn't work, so Secure Brand sent them another board with a different SIM card in it, and it took off working. And so far, I haven't got a phone call that wasn't working. So it works fine. It works great. The man can open. It was a campground where he can give codes to different campers and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So it worked out great.
What are you doing for lightning protection out there? Because you said you got a lot of lightning issues. Uh,
Nothing.
Nothing. It just like spend the money
There's
on the.
no there's no protection from lightning. They kiss my double rear end. Man, I have put surge protectors, I have put ground rods.
Mhm.
Okay? And bam, lightning hits. Lightning doesn't strike nowhere near where the operator. Say it's 100 yards away, it strike. But guess what? It fried the board, it fried the photo eye, and it had a ground rod, and it had a surge protector on it. So you got to tell me, what does that? That's called static electricity, people. Static electricity is what blows out the boards.
Well, I don't know that, and I'm going to start doing some more research because the market that I'm in right now is having nothing but electrical problems where the boards
You
are getting
what the
up.
problem is? Another
Is
problem is not the lightning itself, it's the static electricity that you don't see. Now, the other part is if the power company turns their power off and it flickers, you can get a surge through the power line like that,
fair
and
enough.
it'll
Yeah,
fry a board.
yeah.
That happens too. And there's nothing you can do. You can put a surge protector on it and all that. And I got a couple of operators that get fried because the power company cuts the power off, turn it back on, and it
Yeah,
fries
yeah.
it every time.
Well, that makes
And I
sense
got
because
one that gets hit by lightning. And then I've took the ground rods off and I took the surge protectors off. Ain't had no problem with them since then.
wow, wow, that's interesting. Well, I like to. If anybody knows a grounding expert, I'd like to know
Oh
about
God.
it.
I am a grounding expert. I am.
That's
I
about the
got the
only
stuff
thing you're an
to
expert
do it
at.
with. I'm talking about I can drive a rod in the ground
Yeah,
and have I got a mold. I got magnesium and that chloride stuff you pour in it,
yeah,
and then you spark it up, and it
yeah,
poof, and then it molds the copper to the steel or molds the copper to the copper, and
yeah.
bam, I'm an expert in that, bud.
Okay, all right. If you say so, but
I
I need to
am.
know.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
No,
Well, maybe that's what it is. So
it
I have to
takes
go.
lightning and it takes it to the ground. But what happens if the lightning hits the ground? Then what does it do?
I'll have to find out.
You don't know. Lightning comes from the ground too,
All right.
not
Here's
just above.
open invitations. First of all, James Dunn, you've been on the. You're going to be on the podcast. Brian Davis. You better be on the podcast here pretty soon. Anthony's been on this. Jason Gary's been on it. Jim's been on it. So right here, Christopher, you're invited. You better tell me it. Pick out a date on a Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, by the way, we have new time, 5 o'clock Eastern. And Gary, you're going to have to be on there. I think you owe me one, Gary. You better come on there. Actually, Gary's a really nice guy. He was a student of mine over at Defense University. So there's two new people that got to be on here pretty soon. So y'all better give me a shout out and find out what Sunday you're available. Robert, what's up next week? What do you got going on?
I got 3 operators to get installed and a couple fence jobs to do, and
What
then
operates? LA 400s?
I got one LA 400 I'm working on tomorrow, dual LA 400 with shadow loop, safety loop, exit loop, photo eye, wireless keypad, and 6 remotes. And then when I get that one done tomorrow,
And a
um,
maglock?
I yeah, and a maglock. Oh, I hate
Yeah.
maglocks. But anyway, um, And then the next day, I got a dual collier mount gate from Automatic
What's that?
collier
What's
mounts.
that called? A prime?
Yeah,
It's a prime.
prime dual.
Yeah.
Got to install it. I got the gate hanging already, and just got to install it. And then I got a Liftmaster LA 500 to install too. And then I got a few service calls to do.
Oh yeah. Why'd you go with the LA 500 on that?
I didn't sell it. My dad sold it. Well, we like the LA 500 because the way it's priced, and it'll fit perfect. It's aluminum gate. It's the residence, and there ain't gonna be no worries about it. I would have put a 400, but my dad put the 500. So
Well, ask your dad why he stopped selling Patriots.
because of me,
Oh, is that it? The brain trust.
I had to get him out of him. Yeah, I didn't like him.
Well, I ask him like, hey, would you still be installing Patriots if I wouldn't have told you not to?
My dad's like he would install the damn $500 gate operator if it was up to him.
Oh yeah,
It's whatever the lowest price is. I mean, I'm not knocking the Patriot. It's just not my favorite thing to work on because I don't like where they put the limit switch and stuff at. I want it
that's
where I can work at it and I ain't got to look under the damn thing or turn it upside down. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great operators. I've had some that's been working for a long time. But it's just not my thing.
well. Maybe you might want to check out the Ranger HD because the Ranger HD does it all on the board.
Maybe they can be a sponsor on this show.
Nick Storms, Mike Quattlebaum, any of the Quattlebaums, any of the Storms, man. Y'all call and let us know. We'll I sell more U.S. automatics than y'all do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about them. They're all great operators, but daggone, man, come help us out. Come on.
Yeah. So James, you're telling me that the LA 500 pushed more than the RSW 12 ground mount? I mean, the specs say that, but I would never trust that LA 500 on.
A pad mount. No,
Yeah,
that's the
but
strongest ones you can get.
he's talking about the RSW 12, the residential swinger, which I don't
Yeah, but it's got
install
a
either.
big gearbox in it though that you can
Yeah.
take and move it like that, and it'll move the gate. Nah, no way.
Oh, so
The
James said,
actuator arms are not the greatest openers for gates. They're
well,
cheaply
so
made.
Adam at ECA Gates, he's telling me that he's putting those Max on there that are like 2,000 pounds actuator arms. So I got to see
Is that
those now that I'm out here. I
yeah.
got to see that's see how that works. The baby pad mount let me down. Yeah, of course it did let you down. I mean, it's got two letters on there that let you down. But I don't
Yeah, you got
install.
to use the bigger boy stuff, man. Don't
Yeah,
use the small boy stuff. Big boy
I don't.
stuff.
The residential stuff I've not had good luck with at all. That was another tech support thing too. The dude told me, he's like, we don't tech support the RS W2412, whatever the old one was. He's like, well, we don't tech support it anymore. I'm like, you can't tell me what fuse goes in it? Like you don't have the manual or something like that? And he told me the drop-in replacement was an LA 500. And I'm like, you're telling me that the LA 500 replaces a pad mount? You are high on crack.
No.
But
No
anyways,
way. They need to correct that problem.
the other text, he said yes. James said the Max is a bad mamma jamma. But
She's a bad mamma jamma.
The other tech support thing I did want to bring up though, because it was not just about hating on Liftmaster, was there was a door king issue that I had where the tech kept telling me it was this one chip. It is this chip that replaces this chip. It's it. I can tell you it's it. I know it's it. I said, in the manual, this is what it says. And he goes, nope, this is what I got. He sends me the chip out there. I spent 16 hours trying to diagnose this. Yep, it's the chip, even after I was out there. So that was a door king tech support issue that I had. And then I noticed our buddies at Automatic are closing down at 3:30 Eastern time.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah, they still got the best.
They can. They do. They're pretty good. Automatic's pretty solid.
If you call them early in the morning, you can actually get the owner. I think his name is John. And he'll tell you some stories. If he's got time, he'll tell you some stories, man.
He's a good guy. I like him. I like
All right.
Automatic. They're a great operator.
They're good gate operators. I haven't done much of their actuator arms. I think it looks like a Viking G5, if you ask me.
No, it's more. They got it's the Pro Toro 24.
Prime. No.
It's more like it's more closer to a Door King style.
6006?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It reminds me
Yeah,
more
it
of
is.
that one. Well, the Door King is basically that's what I would be replacing all my LE 500s with, is the 6000s.
But the price is too high. I can't sell them.
Yeah, I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't. Oh yeah, you can't touch it with the LE 500, but you do get made in America. LE 400.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah. Well, maybe that changes in a few days whenever they go up on everything. So who cares? Well, I buy Door King, which I rather do anyway.
Yeah, I like Door King. They've always been reliable. Tech support's good.
I like the 6006. They're great. I got 2 of them I put in last year. Ain't got the first call from them. So everything must be working good. So,
well, they're doing their new DC gate operators and their new telephone entries. So we'll see how that goes. Because the biggest complaint that I have, and I think it's the dumbest complaint of the world, complaint in the world. And for all you technicians that ever tell me this, that Door King, the only reason why they don't use the Door King 1835 is because, or the Door King call boxes, because they're outdated. But they fucking work. They do cell, they do voice over IP, they do Wi-Fi, they do hardwired internet connection. They have an app, they have the cloud, all that shit, man. And they fucking work, dude. That's the reason why I like them. So, but doesn't have like big screen, but the new ones will. Door King has one like LA 500 you can rebuild in the field. Yes, the price issue is hard to sell. Yeah, that's the James. That's a 6006. It's got all the parts can be replaced. All the parts have a part number. It's 10 times easier to service than the LA 500, which LA 500 you can't service. Do not buy the rebuild kit. It does you no good and will only waste $500 of your time. So there you go.
So
all right, well, let's get back to installing gate operators next week.
Yes. All right, man. Well, yeah, we had another great episode. So you ready to call it?
Yeah, I am. Unless you got to tell me something.
I'm just gonna say, just say no.
Just say no. It worked for drugs, so it's got to work for those.
Welcome to another good episode of Two Smooth Operators. Well, I'm out. Podcast about gate operators. Who's that?
That's James. Door King will separate the installers from the truck slammers.
Your host, Michael Brooks.
Door King will.
Stay tuned for another great episode.
Thanks, guys.